Now, in the wake of Kosovo's self-proclaimed independence, questions are being asked about the region's past as well as its future. 9 years after NATO action in Serbia, there are some who ask what the real motives were behind the alliance bombing campaign. Our correspondent Paul Eslier reports from Kosovo.
We, the countries of NATO, have come together in this mission to make sure that we bring justice and hope to these people here. They are our cause, and we must not, and we will not let them down.
NATO did everything it could to convince the world that it went to war against the former Yugoslavia to protect Kosovo Albanians from extermination. But 9 years later, and the numbers of bodies found still don't correlate with the claims. But maybe to find the answer to the question why NATO came to Kosovo, you still have to dig deep underground.
Kosovo possesses huge reserves of coal, 15 billion tons. We also have oil and fuel and mines with lead and gold. We are one of the richest parts of the southeast Europe, but NATO didn't come here for that. They came only to save us from the Serbs. Today we are going to exploit our natural resources and not allow the Serbs to continue doing it.
But the leader of the Serbs in Kosovo sees it differently.
The first reason why NATO came to Kosovo is because we are wealthy with lead and zinc. The second reason, which is also very important, is because Serbia has always been a potential ally with Russia, and NATO wants Serbia to be a small country. This is why they're taking 15% of the Serbian territory by taking Kosovo.
In the 9 years since NATO took over this area from Serbia, they've deployed soldiers here from more than 25 countries, United Nations police, European Union officials, clerks. But the one thing they didn't bring, helping people put bread on the table. This is Trepka, one of the biggest mines in Europe. The north part of the factory is in the Serb side of Kosovo, and the south is in the Albanian. Before the war, 32,000 people worked here. But after NATO's intervention, numbers dwindled to a few hundred. Mikovic Miroslav worked here for 23 years as a shift leader. But today the factory is closed. He still comes to work each day because he has nothing else to do and receives a token salary.
I think that the United Nations mission in Kosovo only wants to evict Serbs from here and not invest in anything so that Serbs will leave. Everything that once worked is no longer good because nobody's working on it. They've been here for 10 years and nothing has happened.
The irony of the Balkans continues to live on. On one of the richest soils in Europe, the population is one of the poorest in Europe. Paul Eslier, Russia Today, Kosovo.
More than a decade after the Bosnian War, Serb refugees are still trying to get their life back on track in many of the war-torn refugee camps. The suburbs of Banja Luka in Bosnia and Herzegovina have become a home to a large Serb refugee community. Our correspondent Naida Azizova looks at their everyday life.
Angelina has become a refugee in her own country. She is Serbian from Muslim Croatia Federation. Unlike many of her friends, she was lucky to survive bombings during the war and came here, in the Serb Republic in Bosnia. She is showing us photos of her past, peaceful life, a big house, huge livestock, and her husband still alive.
I was at home when Croatian army and NATO started to attack our village from air. We had to escape in order to survive, but my husband was against it. We had a fight. Eventually he gave up, but he couldn't put up with it. He died of a heart attack in 3 years after we settled here.
The woman's family came here some 13 years ago, when the civil war between Muslims and Croats from the one side and Serbs from the other started. Serbs, afraid of ethnic cleansing, became refugees. Nearly 250,000 people who lived in the southwest were forced to leave their homes and move to the east, close to Serbia.
I was 4 years old. I remember Mom grabbed me and said, "Hurry." We slept in a small room along with other 13 refugees. We have changed a variety of rooms as Croatian soldiers demolished our house, for we didn't come back.
Jovanna is 19 now. She is the only child in this family who remembers. Others 3 were too small. She studies law in a university, but there are no classes today and she stayed at home enjoying her favorite book. Now they have this house, which has been built due to the government loans. Life might seem cloudless here, but there is a problem: high unemployment level. That's why majority of the villagers go in for agriculture or do some handicrafts, like Nikola.
This is the way we live here.
Nikola trades his carpentry and earns a reasonable sum monthly. The UN posters as this one can be seen all over the village. They are trying to encourage the refugees to return to the settlements they used to live in before the war. The Serbs are not eager though.
There's nothing now. We owned a small shop. They have destroyed everything we had. It's difficult. There is no way back.
Dragocaj is one of the 3 villages inhabited with Serbs from the Muslim Croatian part of Bosnia. More than 8,000 of them live in the area. This is the largest Serb refugee community in the suburbs of Banja Luka. People here are trying to get back to normality. They still have vivid memories of the tragic Bosnian War and the subsequent NATO bombings. Naida Azizova, Russia Today, Dragocaj, Serb Republic in Bosnia.